Hey guys, Mustached here to review the movie Send Help. I'm a little late on this one. Our Long was more of an important movie, I would grant, the circumstances of everything that has happened around that movie. But I am a reviewer, and Send Help also did come out, so I am obligated to at least give it a shot and review it as objectively as possible. I've seen the trailers for this, and so with that being said, we begin this movie meeting Linda Little, from, as the poster literally says, from strategy and planning. She works at some sort of vague business firm where she's eager to work her way up the ladder and has been at the business for, I believe she said, about a decade or something, or close to that. And when given notes for a strategy/plan to move the business forward, the higher-ups, who are men, one man in particular, removes the sticky note that has her name on it. She witnesses this, and is thus not the one promoted to the next tier of being the boss. As the poster below mentions, she's the boss now. So, she is told that she can make her way to a sort of resort trip with the higher ups, though. So she proceeds to do so. They get on a plane, and I think there's at least four other people. There's the guy who took the credit, some other guy, and the guy that will primarily be out throughout the rest of the movie. With this, the plane gets a little bit of a disturbance and then completely falls asunder, leaving just her and this other guy, the new boss, left stranded on an island together. He had injured his leg, and she had wore her seatbelt and almost drowned, but she was able to unbuckle herself and save herself, and is now primarily the one in charge. Now, it is important to note that during their travels before landing here, is that we saw her little attempt at being on a show called Survivor. It's an island-based sort of show where you have, lads and gents and ladies on an island who are trying to, well, survive. Basic premise and all. So, it would appear that she actually already has quite the leverage in terms of being in this scenario. She is able to require supplies and build quite the little hut, intending to the boss. I'll just refer to him as the boss for the time being, for the simplicity of this review. Anyway, so with that in mind, she goes and gets some food later on, and she has a good old laugh as she mentions how, this is breaking the gender norms, as she is one to literally bring home the bacon, as the expression is. And, I found this to be quite humorous in the sense of Survivor has been, shows like that, where, people are on an island, has been a gimmick for quite some time now, and has been split between both sexes for a long time. So this idea that masculinity must be at the forefront of everything is absolutely ludicrous, and has been for a long time. So, Sam Raimi over here beating up gender norms with ease, with kid gloves, as if he even needed them, but, he's making it look like a cakewalk. So she indeed does bring home the bacon and even tends to him. He's wondering why she isn't, sidetracking to do an SOS or something along these lines. And she retorts in that everything she has been doing was to keep him alive, which is true from what we see her doing. However, there is a quick twist in the movie. It happens a decent ways in, but pretty early on still, where we see at some point a boat arriving on the island. And we, as the audience, currently hear her say, "Not yet." So, something more devious is already undermining this little story, which, this is a spoiler review, so, just in case you're having any thoughts of seeing this, I'm just gonna say it now. So we see her head off, but it cuts away at a certain point, and that will be important for later. When she does return, we do spend some time with him and her, with him recuperating, and eventually, getting to a state where he can finally start walking on his own. So they begin walking together to explore more of the island. And she's been, all over this island, apparently. So she's the one guiding him throughout the island, showing him the spots of, where to go and where not to go. And, he starts to make his own plans as, again, we hear her say lines pretty early on and saying that maybe we should just stay here. And so, with those two little obvious hints in the making, it becomes clear what is really going on. But I digress in saying that he eventually works on this secret raft as more and more time is happening. But this isn't the only moment of reprieve and twist. We see his girlfriend come over with some other guide later on in the movie, and proceeding to have her, Linda, guide them into a trap in which she, the girlfriend, ends up on a cliffside and fumbling off of it, and we see her not do anything, and then it cutting away again, presumably more of her shifting in this little planning phase going on here, and now it's become even more of a, oh, right. She is not letting these people go. That is clear as day now. If there was any more of an obvious hint, it would be hitting us over the head, but I digress, as it does still cut away. So he had tried to poison her with some food, does so, she gets sick, and when she does get better and he tries to raft away, his raft breaks, unable to escape. He's all like, "Fuck you, Linda," and then gets fucked up. And in doing so, when he returns, Linda returns the favor in probably the quickest revenge arc I have seen in movie history, probably, where she immediately does the exact same thing that he just did to her in poisoning her, but with a body stiffener type food system. And she proceeds to just absolutely terrify the guy by taking off the lower parts of his clothes and taking out that knife to, as she is gesturing to cut off. We all know what she's implying to cut off. And we see blood, so we assume that she is doing it, and then she pulls up a rat at some, to show off that she was just messing with this guy, and she could have totally been doing it the entire time. So that was her revenge. But, when he discovers that, because he starts to explore more parts of the island, that the girlfriend died, that is when he realizes that he has to make a big deal of difference in trying to kill her before she can kill him. But is through further exploration that another part of the island that has yet to be explored, at least from his perspective so far, is like the other side of the island that just has this entire house on it, and some rich guy had been living there, and she was already there at a point, as we start to learn all the details of what she's really been doing this entire time. We see the first cutaway point, and then extended past that point of her seeing the boat arrive with the people going toward that house, so that's what she was actually looking at the entire time, though the camera focuses on her the first time, so we don't ever see the house up until this point in the movie. So there is a implication that she has been getting a lot of her supplies from that very house. There is no reason not to believe that at this point, but I digress in saying that furthermore, she completely outmaneuvers him with gun in hand and watching him through the camera feed of this rich person house. She's obviously been in here now quite a number of time, for a length of time, to understand where everything is. And thus, with the gun off, he eventually is begging and pleading and doing all of this just to try to attempt to get her to back off, to fight her off, to get gun in hand, only to reveal that the gun was never truly loaded. She fights back, and thus is able to get the jab off of other weapons within the vicinity that she could, wield at the opportune moment. And eventually, he's like fighting back, he gets close to killing her a few times, but ultimately, she is the one who ends this little feud between the two of them that has flipped now to its extreme. And once doing so, we cut to some X amount of time later, where she is the one getting all the rewards and accolades, and as implied by the trailer poster at the bottom there, she's indeed the boss now. She hid the bodies, I guess, well enough, to make her way up to the top, the tippity top of the business, and, makes her a little smarky, ad, as it were, in the golf court, because golf was mentioned a few times in the earlier parts of the movie. So she takes those things and remembers them to implement them in the planning phase of execution as the boss. And that was Send Help. It is a fun movie with a interesting little twist, making your protagonist eventually become the antagonist, or the killer in this sense. And, quote-unquote, justifying at least the first two kills as not even entirely on her. She was just trying to save herself on the plane. when the plane initially was sort of fucking up and catching on fire and all of that. All she did was put on her belt. The other two were trying to take off her belt, if anything, so it was a matter of self-defense at that time and juncture, so that was completely justified for her to do, I feel like, anyway. It is that flip of when the boat arrives that now is like, oh, okay, she is just becoming a killer at this point in the movie, which is, again, pretty early on in the movie, all things considered. So yeah, interesting little twist on that. You know, does a few little mockery things, has your Sam Raimi spooky little moments of like, oh, a big scary skeleton that looks really good, or like looks like a Sam Raimi special. All of that's here as well. So yeah, I would say this is a 7 out of 10. It was a solid movie. I enjoyed it. So yeah, pretty solid. And if you ended up enjoying this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you to my petition to help smaller YouTubers, second to my PayPal. You can help support me and my channel directly, and third to my Discord server. We can join Collab Shield, do that cool stuff for free, and until next time, everyone, bye-bye.